Well, it's amazing, to hear the story and the work and the success that you've had. But there's always failure that nobody talks about. And so I'm curious to know, you've built, several successful businesses. You've hit the Inc. 5000, but somewhere in that journey there had to be a deal, a launch, a partnership that maybe didn't fall, as planned. Tell us what happened and what did you learn? What did it teach you? Because we got a lot of young entrepreneurs here that are in that boat today.
So I'll give you the biggest emotional business scar I've got. So I spoke at a local event, and at the local event, another one of the speakers happened to be the founder of one of the largest multi-state regional, but founded here area personal injury law firms, multi-state, right? Guy on TV
Okay.
24 hours a day. I go up to him after he spoke. He said, "Oh, I saw your speech. That's so cool, blah, blah, blah." We started a conversation. 9 months of back and forth of proposals to get this guy to hire us. 9 months. He says on a Friday, our last meeting, "This is awesome. This is exactly what I want. Get me a contract on Monday. I will get you a check." And that check
Okay.
was going to be for multiple six figures with seven-figure performance incentives for our marketing firm. And we were going to get free rent in his new, beautiful office building.
Amazing.
Amazing deal. Amazing deal. So I went home. I told I'm celebrating. I'm so excited. And my wife at the time was looking for a new house. We had outgrown our first house. We had three kids. We needed more space. So I'm like, "Honey, go shop in this price range," because he was writing me a
Yeah.
check.
Oh, whoa.
So, and then on Monday, I send him the contract. The people I have interviewed and have ready to go, I tell them, "You're hired. Start working here on Tuesday, because I'm going to need you to do the
Mhm.
work." Well, back and forth, back and forth. A month goes by. I still don't have a check. My wife is like, "I've lost three houses because you won't let me put in a bid. What's going on? I don't understand." So he's
Mhm.
not returning my emails, my text messages, my phone calls. I cancel all my meetings. I get a book. I camp out in his office. The secretary's like, "Do you have an appointment?" I said, "No, but I brought this like 600-page book. I will sit here for the next 8 hours until I get 5 minutes with this guy, because he said he was giving me a check a month ago, and I need my check." If you
Yeah.
remember the old Tracy Morgan Saturday Night Live skit, "We go and get your money." Like, I needed to get my money.
Yeah. That's
So she
right.
goes off in a huff. 5 minutes later, she comes back. He changed his mind. He's not doing it. Thanks anyway. No reason.
Oh man.
Gut punch. So I called
No.
my wife
Ouch.
in tears. She was wonderful. She took our kids to her parents, dropped them off, went to the liquor store, and met me at home with a bottle of whiskey.
There
No,
you go. There
it was
you
not Morgan and
go.
Morgan. They're not in Buffalo yet. I mean, they're not. They're in it, but they're not really in it. Anyway, so met me at home, and then I had to tell her, "You can't buy those houses because he didn't give me a check. You have to shop in this lower
Yeah.
price range." So she was not happy. And then, oh, by the way, I had these people I hired 27 days ago that had been sitting around twiddling their thumbs. Like, I've been trying to find other work for them to do, but any day I was going to get this check. So I now had to decide, do I fire them, or do I frantically bring in more business? I had huge mistake, stopped prospecting for the month because he was coming on board. So our pipeline had
Hmm.
dried up. So I had a massive hole to dig myself out of. Thankfully, we kept the people, we found more money, we got more clients, and I realized what was one of the worst days of my life turned out to be a really good day, because we realized later I had talked to other people who had worked with him or pitched him, and they all said the same thing. He's notorious for saying yes and then not doing it. He's incredibly hard to work with. He's a giant pain in the butt. He's impossible to please, and he hires and fires people with like no notice. And so I said, "Oh my God, he would have
Whoa.
been like half our revenue back then, and he would have been our landlord." So had we gotten that deal and then it not worked out, number one, we would have gotten half our revenue and then lost it, and we would have been homeless. So perhaps
Right.
it wasn't meant to be. And there are so many lessons in that story, like don't spend the money until the check clears, like don't count on it until it actually happens, like do some research on who you're pitching before you pitch so that you don't pitch someone that you're going to wish you didn't get as a client. Like, there's at least five other lessons in there from that very painful day.
There's so many, there's so many great lessons there, but I truly appreciate you dug yourself out, you came out stronger, and and that's what this is all about. The entrepreneur ride is not an easy one, and it's not for everyone. So it's important to, lay out the good and talk about the bad and talk about the challenges, because that's something critical that a lot of people just do not talk about. And I like to bring those out because I like to keep it real here and really, resonate with what we truly endure as humans, because it isn't all rainbows and and unicorns and sunshines, and it's not about that. It's sometimes about that grind and some of that pain that later is a blessing in disguise, and that you take a learning and you grow from it, and it grows your business portfolio probably even better than what you had hoped going in. So I truly appreciate that story, Seth. That's great. Now let's fast forward a bit. Now you're working with Kevin Harrington. Like that's amazing, from the Shark Tank group. And so when Kevin said yes, landing a co-host with Kevin Harrington, it doesn't happen by accident. So walk us through that story. Like what did you do? What did you say? How does that happen that you now are teaching entrepreneurs and doing that on your podcast?
Sure. So I kidnapped Kevin, which I don't recommend. So here's what happened. So this was about 14, 15 years ago. And a friend, I was in BNI back then because I was I needed to hustle all the time to get business. And I got
Yeah.
a text message, a phone call from one of my friends in BNI. And he's like, hey, did you know Kevin? I know you love Shark Tank. Do you know Kevin, who's on from Shark Tank, is coming to Buffalo to speak? I said, nobody comes to Buffalo to speak. What are you talking about? And he's like, I don't know. There's some organization called EO. It's something to do with that. I didn't know what EO was. So I found out what it was. I had 8 meetings scheduled that day. I canceled them all. I paid $300 because I wasn't a member to get a ticket. I went to go hear him speak. At the
Mhm.
time, he was on every episode of Shark Tank. Like now, he's not on all the time anymore, but he was on every week then. He was promoting his new book. It was like the 30th or whatever anniversary of Entrepreneurs Organization, which he was a founding board member with Michael Dell and some other, Vern Harnish and some other amazing people. So I saw
Amazing.
him speak. He does his thing, and then he's in the back of the room, taking pictures, signing autographs. I buy the book, get my picture, whatever. So I'm waiting in line, and I'm like, I can't just ask for a selfie. I can't just ask for an autograph. I need some different way to stand out and get his attention. So there's like 5 people in front of me. I'm like, think,
Yeah.
think, 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 think. You're a marketing guy. Think. It's my turn. I said, Mr. Harrington, I'm here to take you to the airport. And there was no Uber back then.
What? No.
And he said, I'm in Buffalo, so I had a car. So I live here.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and he says, oh, that's okay. I was just going to take a cab. And I said, no, you don't understand. I'm supposed to take you to the airport. And he said, okay.
Whoa.
And he said, I got a board meeting with the EO people for Buffalo after this. Why don't you come to that meeting, be a fly on the wall, and then you can take me to the airport? And I said, awesome. This is going to be amazing. So I'm sitting in the boardroom, watching him do the meeting, and I'm texting my wife going, oh my God, I'm going to drive Kevin to the airport. This is going to be amazing. And she's like, in your car? And at the time, dad of little kids, I'm driving a RAV4. And I'm like, well, honey, this is Buffalo. Like, I can't go rent a Bentley by the hour. And he's got like 12 of them. And she's like, could you at least clean your car? Like, you got sippy cups and goldfish crackers all over that thing.
You imagine that, yeah.
And she's like, and I'm like, honey, I'm in this meeting. She's like, trust me, say you have to go to the bathroom and go clean your damn car. So I listened to my very smart wife. I cleaned my car. He's not from Buffalo, so I drove very slowly to the airport because he wouldn't know how long it takes. I had my 20 minutes to pitch. I pitched. I said, big fan, been through the SENonTV.com, which he owned then, the SENon TV funnel website. We think we've analyzed it. We think there's 7 holes in your funnel. We think if we fix these, we can up your sales 20%. Was the short end of the pitch. This was before the podcast. And he says,
Okay.
20%. We do over $1 billion in sales a year. I said, no. He said, so you're telling me you're going to make me $200 million more?
Yeah.
I said, sweaty, sure. He said, okay, send me what you want to send me. Here's my cell phone number. Here's my address. Send me your thing. Send me your pitch. So I sent him another marketing lesson, what we call a shock and awe box.
Okay.
His secretary interrupted his board meeting, which I did not ask her to do, and interrupted and said, Mr. Harrington, this is the coolest thing you've ever seen. You got to look at it. He texted me and was like, I'm pissed that she interrupted my board meeting, but I'll call you later. It was like an aluminum briefcase with a DVD that popped up with a video from me to him. And then he called me back later and said, okay, if you can deliver what you promised, I'm in. So we got hired for as seen on TV. Then he hired us for a bunch of his portfolio companies. Then on Shark Tank, he would call me after and go, hey, I bought this company. Can you market it? He started a live version of Shark Tank called Pitch Tank, which was on stage live 3 times a year. He said, can you fill the room for me? Can you market the event?
Wow.
So we got to fill his room 3 times a year, including once a year his big event in Vegas with 2,000 people. He said, hey, can you be a judge on the panel and help evaluate the businesses? Hey, can you teach them all how to, my pitch formula? Can you 10 steps to a perfect pitch? Can you teach them how to pitch so they don't waste our time? Hey, can you be on the panel with me and John Mackey and Steve Forbes? And I was like,
Wow.
yes.
Yeah.
And then 13 years ago, we were having dinner and he said, what do you got that's really cool these nowadays? And I said, our Dream 50 podcast model, which we're going to talk about. He said,
Yeah.
I want a podcast. I don't want to do any work. I said, awesome. Just show up. We'll do all the work. He said, I can't do an episode every week. I'm on a plane all the time. I
Uh-huh.
was like, can you give me 2 hours once a month and we'll do 4 in a row, or 1 hour twice a month? He said, that I can do. I said, done. And it's now almost 14 years ago that he's been the co-host of my show.
Wow, amazing. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about your podcast. Are you, what can you tell us about that?
So I host a couple shows now, and we produce dozens and dozens every week for our clients, which I know we're going to talk about. But
Mhm.
Sharkpreneurs for successful entrepreneurs who have already, the people we interview have already crossed multiple seven figures and are talking about how they scaled and how they're getting to the next level. So
Amazing,
I get to
amazing.
interview amazing entrepreneurs. Kevin does episodes now because he's semi-retired. He does them every once in a while. He doesn't do every week anymore. But I've
Sure.
had hundreds and hundreds of episodes with him, and it was like getting it was like getting a PhD and a master's in entrepreneurship, watching him ask questions and going, "Hey, later, why did you ask that question in that order? And why did you react this way?" And getting the lesson every time.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear more about it and hopefully one day in your show there. That sounds like fun.
Love to have
So
you.
so you have 10 best-selling books and you said you just hit number 10 shortly, eh?
Yes. Number 9 was the ultimate guide to growing your business with a podcast, which we're going to show your folks how they, if it's okay, how they can get a big discount off the Amazon price. And then
Absolutely.
the 10th book that came out last month is the Strategic Growth Playbook: Real Strategies from Business Leaders Who Build, Scale, and Dominate.
Amazing. Tell us about them. Tell us about the 10th book, Scaling and Growing. We just did a 4-part series here for our entrepreneurs about how to scale and grow their business the right way. So what are some of the takeaways from your book? What can we look forward to learning there?
Sure. So, and here's a secret hack if you want to be a best-selling author and write a book without writing a book. I produced an online summit called the Strategic Growth Summit, and it spent 9 hours with these people. And then I turned the 9 hours of recordings into the book. So all I had to write was the introduction and the conclusion.
Amazing. Willie, there's the recipe. Write it down.
And then I got, of course, all 9 of those amazing people who were my guest speakers to promote the event so that we had an audience other than mine. And of course, they all promoted the book because they're in it.
That's great. That sounds amazing. That's something that we'll certainly take into mind and see how we can do that. Now, the entrepreneurs, that are in the room, I'm sure they have, some level of unexpected, left turns that happen, left curbs that come their way, stuff that nobody sees coming. Now, most people have a chapter that they don't really lead with. What's yours? Where did you start, and what surprised you down the road as you've grown and scaled, the Inc. 500 5,000 list?
Okay, so I built 4 businesses so far, failed at a couple, but built 4 that are successful. And I think I think there is no greater laboratory for working on yourself as a person than trying to grow a
Hmm.
business. There
Hmm.
is nothing harder. There is nothing that where the highs are higher. I've never been addicted to drugs. Maybe that makes you higher, but there's nothing in my mind that is higher than crushing it at business and going, oh my God, I launched that thing into the world and people just gave me a ton of money.
Yeah.
And there's nothing lower than the guy going, sorry, I'm not giving you a couple hundred grand that I said I was. Right.
Right.
So I think who you are being affects how well what you do actually works. I think it's maybe contrarian, but I think it's more important. And this is heresy, right? Coming from a marketing guy, I think spend
Yeah.
time working on your personal development, your spiritual development, and the business will work better. I could give you the
Hmm.
greatest marketing campaign in the world, but if you're in a negative scarcity, fear based, oh crap, how do I pay the rent mindset, it ain't gonna work no matter how good it is because your energy won't let it.
Wow. That's
the biggest
amazing.
the biggest leaps we've ever had in our business, that where our income, our revenue went up geometrically, not just incrementally, weren't because I created some new whiz bang marketing thing. I wish that took the credit. It was because I had an epiphany, an evolutionary leap as a father, as a husband, as a leader, as a person, and then the business grew to meet me because I was now a bigger vessel. Like if your business isn't the level that you, I think Alex Charfen told me, if your business isn't the level you want it at, it's because you haven't become the person who can run the bigger business yet.
Wow, that's super powerful. I love it. I love it. That's great. So that's great advice, and it's something that we, sometimes get in the weeds on, right? We start thinking about it and we think, "Oh man, it's not working. Why isn't it working?" But I love the approach of, being open-minded, like really being of the abundance mindset and really welcome it and already be there. So that's great. Like, obviously, your books, your background is around marketing. So tell us all about the marketing strategies. What makes it so successful for you?
So, my biggest marketing secret is don't grow your business yourself.
Mm.
There are, no matter what market you're in, somebody else already has your audience, right?
Hmm.
There are other people who serve the same customers that you do, but don't compete with you. I call them your co-opetition, not your competition.
Okay. Okay.
So, we have a process, which I'm happy to share with everybody,
Yeah.
where we go get your 50 top cooperators and get them to become an evangelists, ambassadors, affiliates, referral partners for your brand, so that every week another person is out there promoting your business to their world, thus saving you a ton of time, energy, and money and trying to build the audience yourself. I've got, I think, 3 or 4 webinars next week, none of which I am filling the room for. One of which happening on Tuesday has, I think, as of this morning, like 438 of our ideal perfect clients registered for it. I didn't do it. One of our co-opetitions, one of our cooperators, is the one promoting that webinar and filling the room on my behalf.
Wow. Wow. And I know for a fact that in the room, we've heard it from one entrepreneur that's currently has a competitor or competitor out there that is promoting their business locally. So you can leverage others out there to work for you. That's
Amen.
great. That's great. Amazing. Now, it's interesting to hear more about, how that looks and what are some of the things that the group here can do to do that. But, I'm also curious to know about the mission behind the model, beyond the revenue, beyond the rankings. What's the thing that actually drives you, Seth?
I will say the ripple effect. So, as for example, in the financial services space, still own that company, still do college financial aid negotiation. We still do that as a service. In
Hmm.
that business, we can only help so many individual clients.
Okay.
However, if we help 100 financial advisors help their clients, now all of a sudden I've got way more exposure than we could ever do on our own.
Right.
So to me, it's about who can we touch through the marketing of all of our business owner clients. Like one of my favorite testimonials has nothing to do with us, but at one time we were helping grow one of the fastest growing chain of stem cell clinics. And real quick story, we get a call from this guy who says, I was going to kill myself. I have diabetic
Whoa.
neuropathy so bad I can't even put on a shirt. My skin hurts so much. I can't pick up my grandkids.
Oh,
I can't do much. My life sucks. I literally had a date in the calendar when I was going to kill myself. I saw a Facebook ad for this stem cell clinic that was having a seminar. I said, "Oh, okay, I'll go to the seminar. I can kill myself the next day." He came to the seminar for our client.
oh,
He bought the procedure on the spot. He then said, "Okay, if the procedure doesn't work in a month, then I'll kill myself." He got the stem cell treatment and then went changed his life. He was like, I was at a pain level of 9.5. Now I'm at a 2. I got my life back. I was going to kill myself. I didn't because of your. And then he called the stem cell clinic and was like, I saw a Facebook ad for you guys. Who did that? I want to thank them. They saved my life. So I
amazing.
tell our
Wow.
team every day, marketing saves. Like I have, they got me a McDreamy mug from Grey's Anatomy with his quote, "Today's a
Oh,
beautiful day to
yes,
save
yes.
lives." And I say, marketing
Yeah.
saves lives. So that's my ripple effect.
Wow. I would have never in a million years thought of marketing, that it has that type of power. And so that's great to hear that story. Amazing. Amazing. Now, one last question here from me, and then I'll pass it over to Willie. But I'm thinking about, a lot of the founders in the room, and they may be stuck, they may have hit a ceiling. You've had an opportunity to scale to such high levels. And let's think about the audience right now who's working harder than ever, but can't seem to break through. They're doing everything right. They're doing all the stuff that conventional wisdom tells them to do. What's the one thing you would tell them that they're almost certainly getting wrong? Like what's the one thing they should avoid
They're
when they're
working
looking to
too
scale?
they're working too hard.
Yeah?
You're busy doing the thing, in my guess, instead of being the thing. So you're spending more time, if you fell into the trap I did in the beginning, you're spending more time working on your craft, hustle, grind, working too hard, grinding it out, Gary Vaynerchuk crap, right?
Yep, yep.
Instead of focusing on who you are being and who you should be being that for, because business
Mhm.
should not be that hard and it doesn't have to be. Trust me, I know I made 300 cold calls a day every day for 5 years before I found a better way. It sucked.
Wow. Wow, amazing. That's crazy. And and it's something that we've talked about here. We've actually said that, right? Like if you really learn how to leverage your time, learn how to delegate and properly empower your second line leaders, you'll give the time to go work on the right things, not to work on everything. Because that's when you bottleneck, that's when it burns you out, and that's when it actually fails.
Yeah, I would say one big lesson I learned is I wasn't a systems guy when I started. I was just hustling. I was just doing the thing, doing the work of the business, selling, and then trying to deliver. And I wish I had built systems from day one. I wish I had documented everything I was doing from day one so that I could have hired sooner. I could have gotten out of my own way sooner. You need to duplicate everything you're doing while you're doing it so somebody else can eventually do it instead of you so that you can go work on the bigger, better things.
Yeah, man, I love that because that's exactly what we do, Seth. We promote and ensure that our entrepreneurs are building systems and working, with the right tools that will allow them to scale healthy and really for the long haul. So that's amazing advice. Now, as I'll pass it over to Willie because I know he's dying to ask you a few questions. Willie, we'll go to you.
Well, that was great. Yes, I do have some questions since I'm in a marketing business as well. And I'm thinking on quite a few people in the room are in the trade service business. What are the marketing strategies of today to promote for some companies like that?
Happy to. And we've worked with a number of home service businesses, so right up the alley. So I will tell you what will affect what we have. 50% of the success or failure of your business or your marketing comes down to one factor.
Mm,
It's who is your target market.
Hmm.
Most business owners get this wrong. They do it too broad,
Hmm.
right? I'll give you my most famous example. One of my most famous examples. Dentist comes in. Hey, doc, who's your ideal patient? Anyone with teeth. I said, you don't have enough money to reach everybody with teeth, and they don't all want a dentist.
Right.
So you got to laser focus. It took us 3 months of deep diving with his staff and everybody to figure out who his real target market was, and you won't believe it. 45 to 55-year-old affluent suburban woman who got divorced in the last 6 months, starting to date again, terrified of competing against younger women, wants to do something to improve her appearance, is afraid of plastic surgery.
Whoa. Whoa. Like down to
We
the last.
we quadrupled his revenue. He works half as much as he used to, and he has a waiting list 3 months long because we remade his entire practice to only be about the divorce smile makeover experience.
There you go for the service industry. Nail it down. Specific to the divorce, looking to date again detail.
Exactly.
wow.
That's great.
And branding, how important is that for a business?
So I might be a little contrarian here. I'm going to say, so I'm a direct response marketing guy. There's two different types if you don't know. Direct response is every single thing I do has to trackably make the phone ring or get a response.
Mm,
Branding to me, could be wrong, my definition is, hey, I want to get my logo recognized by focus groups. I want to get my name out there, right? So to me, I would never spend any money on branding first. I would do
Mm.
direct response, and then branding is a happy accidental byproduct of me communicating the right message to the right market in the right form of media at the right time.
Whoa.
We do lots of marketing that's brand blind. They don't know who they're responding to. They just know as a prospect, they are raising their hand and saying, I have that problem and I want to know how to solve it.
Hmm.
So I have banged my head against the wall with personal injury lawyers because somebody brought up Morgan and Morgan after I told my story, going, stop being the annoying guy on TV all the time, going, hurt in a car, call me. I got $10 billion. The insurance companies are afraid of me. They're not afraid of anybody. Like, it's enough already. I say, run an ad that says, injured, don't hire a personal injury lawyer until you read this free report, How to Overcome the 7 Biggest Mistakes People Make with Their Car Accident Claim in Buffalo.
Uh-huh.
They don't even know what lawyer they're calling. They just want the thing. They want the lead magnet. Hey, you're in the trades, you're a plumber. Well, how do I know that my pipe's not going to burst when I'm on vacation? Like, I want a free plumbing audit to come prevent the most common problems that are going to happen that I don't even know are happening in my house right now.
Hmm.
Whoa.
I
That's
want to know what
super
are the 7
powerful.
biggest lies home contractors are telling me and how to avoid getting ripped off when I want to remodel my kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what are the paid strategies that you use these days for?
So the beauty of today and the curse of today is there are more media choices on how to reach people than ever before. So it can be overwhelming because we think, oh my God, I got to be everywhere all at once, all the time. You do not. I'm going to tell you, do one thing. You're going to pick one target market. You're going to find out where they hang out, and that's the media you're going to use. So if my target market was 80-year-old widows who quilt, who have arthritis, I'm not doing TikTok ads,
Hmm.
right? I'm doing ads in Arthritis Today magazine or Quilter magazine because they still read.
Mhm.
Now, if you're trying to reach my tween-age daughters, well, don't even bother running Facebook ads to them. They're only on TikTok,
Yep.
right? They sucked my wife into TikTok. So you got to fish where the fish are. So you got to figure out who are those ideal ultra specific fish, Bryson, to your point. You got to figure out who those people are, and it requires some different level of thinking, as you saw with my dentist example. Like, think about who are your favorite clients, who pay you the most, who stay the most, who refer the most, who would you love working with? Like, if I had a magic wand and could get you one type of client, and that's the whole rest of your career, you could
Mhm.
only work with those people. Who would they be? Right? If
Mhm.
I got a magic wand, do you want movie stars? I'm not saying I can get them for you, but like, think that big. Like, if the sky is a limit, who do you really want? Do you want
Mhm.
700 clients that pay you $100 a month? Or would you rather have 20 clients that pay you 5 grand a month? Different lifestyle choice, different business choice, different experience you can deliver. I would always rather be the premium priced provider than the lowest cost, right? Unless you can be Walmart, if you're a retail store, there is no advantage to being the second lowest prices in your city. No
Right.
one's coming to
Hmm.
you. But there's a
Yeah.
big advantage. I don't want to be McDonald's and sell a dollar menu. I want to be the Buffalo Chop House and sell an $80 24-ounce bone and ribeye. It's a
Yeah.
way better. It's my favorite restaurant. It is a way better experience sitting in the velvet chairs and the amazing decor and having the wine and the 6 course. Like, I would much rather go to the Chop House than buy the same. It's not the same meat, but a dollar menu at McDonald's.
Yeah, yeah, but 100%. And I totally can relate to that. When we were running the Willie's trucking company, that's what we said. We're not the cheap carrier. We're not the McDonald's coffee, right? We're premium brand here. We can get your freight delivered to you on time. So we went, strategically and looked for that customer that would pay for the premium delivery. And
Amen.
that's what we were intentional about.
That's awesome.
It's great. What other questions do you have, Willie?
Um, yeah, last question. As a marketing company, what is the niche market that you see out there for a huge opportunity to market to as a marketing business?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you, if it's okay, not to think that way. I don't want you chasing a shiny object. I
Hmm.
don't want you going, ooh, what's the hot niche? Because
Yep.
everybody's going for the hot niche. I want you to think about what's the hot niche for you, Willie? Who's
Mhm.
Sure.
your ideal client? Not like I was a speaker on a panel at an ecom conference, and there were 8 other Facebook ad experts and me, and they were all talking about, hey, spend $5 a day and do this and this and this and test this lowest hanging fruit. And I said, that's all crap. if you treat Facebook ads if you treat your business like a hobby, it'll pay you like a hobby. I said, you want a part-time lifestyle business? Good. Go work your 20 hours a week on your laptop on a beach. I will work 80 hours a week and kick your ass because I want to work. So don't spend $5 a day on Facebook ads, and Facebook won't give you any traffic for $5 a day. Treat it like a business, invest in it like a business. It will pay you like a business. So don't go, what's the hot niche? Because next month you'll be bored and you'll want a new hot niche. And your spiritual energy will be, I'm in this for the money. This is cool right now. And your results will reflect that. Whereas I want you to go, who are the people that I love, that I want to help, that I would help forever, even if it wasn't hot?
Right.
And then that will resonate and those people will get you. Right. We have a big vertical in professional practices, financial advisor, accountant, lawyer, white collar type folks. I was one. I still am one. I get their problems. I love those people. And we have one in e-com and we have one in the author, speaker, coach, consultant space. People selling courses online, consulting, coaching programs, just like OBS. Because I've got free coaching programs. I know what that's like. I speak the language. I can talk all about churn and retention all day long. And cost to acquire CAC and cost to acquire a customer and all the different things, right? That lights me up.
Love
if
it.
you had someone come in, okay, I'm going to come up with I don't have a good example because I could fall in love with any business because I'm crazy about this stuff. But if some guy came in and had a garbage sanitation company, A, I don't know anything about it. And B, I'm probably not going to wake up at 4 a.m. with an awesome idea to market his sanitation business. But if he's got if he's a professional practice owner, I have 72 awesome ideas that I've already proven work. Hopefully that helps.
Wow. That's amazing. This is really like gold here that we're listening to today. So really, really appreciate all of this, Seth. Now, before we open it up, I'm sure that people here are just that's ready to ask you some questions. So I don't want to miss the time to give you the opportunity to talk about, where do people find you? Where are some of the places that they can continue to learn from you and be in touch?
Absolutely. So we have a special offer for the OBS folks. If you want to get a copy of my Amazon bestseller, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with the Podcast, How to Turn Warm Fuzzy Feelings into Cold Hard Cash, at 30% off the Amazon price, a physical copy, not Kindle, physical, go to ultimatepodcastbook.com. If you want to check out our company or corporate branded site, it's marketdominationllc.com. And the social network I am personally the most active on is LinkedIn.